All right, I want to welcome you all to the Belief Day. This event is all around beliefs. And the reason why we chose this topic is because this topic, beliefs, will control every part of your life. So I'm delighted that you've chosen to invest your time here with us. And we absolutely are committed to deliver life transforming value to you in the next 2 hours. And that's why I asked, are you ready to receive before we started? I do have a PowerPoint presentation. I will be addressing questions. We do have an offer that we're going to share with you, something brand new that we just created. And we're going to be getting into all that while we're investing the 2 hours that we're here together. What I also want to do is I want to provide a gift for someone. And the gift is going to be one of these very special blocks that I had made. And each side of these blocks has a life-altering statement or question. Things like, I live in the joyous expectancy of the best. I mean, how many of you wake up every day and you truly live in the joyous expectancy of the best? Type in the chat box if that's you. Are you someone that wakes up in the morning and you just feel good, you expect good, and you know that good and only good is going to come your way? Be honest. Be honest if that's not the way you feel when you wake up in the morning. That's okay. There's no try, there's only do. And so maybe it's sometimes, maybe it's every day, maybe it's something that you're willing to commit to. All right, somebody said they love the block. Okay, I want to talk about that as well. Here's another question that's on here. Now that my dream is fulfilled, how do I feel? This is absolutely one of the most powerful questions you can ask yourself. Why is that applicable to today in the belief seminar? Because when you ask and answer that question, you reinforce and you build the belief that what you desire is already in your heart. By the way, that is the secret to all success. Another question is, and this is a powerful question, when you desire to shift out of negative energy and move over to positive energy. This is a technique that I've used, this switching technique, many, many years ago when I purchased a house and didn't have any money to pay for it. And yet I had the desire to accomplish that. I just kept asking myself, what would I love? What would I love? What would I love? It was a question that I asked myself over and over again. Why? Because it changed the focus. Why? Because it changed my energy. It changed how I was feeling because I answered the question. What I would love was to own that home. What does it feel like to own it? It feels great. And I went straight to feeling. So that was a process that I just gave you. And we're only 2 minutes into this event, guys. That's a life-changing process right here, right now. How many of you wrote that down? How many of you wrote that down? This is good. Some of you have heard this before, but are you really using it? I love what Neville Goddard says. If you need to change your thoughts 70 times, 7 times 70, do it, change it. Dr. Joseph Murphy says, if you are required to change your thought 50 times in an hour, you're thinking negative thoughts, change it. This is the way that you change it. What would I love? And here's another one. And this was a question that we had asked everyone. How many of you believe this? Do you realize that out of a couple hundred responses, 43 people responded that they don't believe this is true? But many people did. Now, it's not a judgment that we're looking at the responses and judging people because they don't believe it. It's a very profound statement. Now, if you just decided to accept it as a belief, my success is absolutely guaranteed, could that change your life? Could that? Yes, absolutely. I see some heads nodding. All right, great. I love it. Okay, so the gift that I'm going to be giving is one of these to one participant. But here's how you get to win the gift. My team is going to pick the person that's going to receive the block that I will send out to you. I've got a number of them lined up to send out tomorrow for people that are in our annual All Access Pass. And if you wonder what that is, we'll just book an appointment with Laddie. She'd be happy to tell you all about that. And how it's going to work is I'm going to go through my slides in a few minutes. Now, I have been preparing for this event for, well, almost half a century, in fact. And the reason is because I began studying in January 1979. And that's when I met the late and the great Bob Proctor. He was the biggest influence in my life as it relates to personal development. He wasn't the only influence, but definitely the biggest influence that I've ever had in my life. Why? Because he had such a depth of understanding of these materials, because he really taught in a way that helped people understand it so that you can apply it. Because the truth is, no amount of studying, no amount of investing in webinars, reading the books, watching the videos, listening to the audios is going to do anything for you unless and until you understand it and apply it. So it's really important to apply. That's what's going to make the difference. That's what's going to change your results. Okay. Now, you may be somebody who is, serious about your life. You're serious about making some positive changes. And I would assume that anybody that's on here is serious about that. Would I be right on that? Are you all serious about your own life? Are you here because you want to make a positive change? Type in the chat box. Now, what I love about the responses that I'm seeing is Michelle, as an example, our symbologist. And she's somebody who's a very serious student. I've been working with Michelle for years. I saw June's on here as well, another very serious student, somebody who I was blessed to serve in a private mentoring capacity. And the truth is that it's very important to understand these materials and to continue to study these materials, because your life can and will continue to get better and better and better. And wouldn't you just love that? How many would love your life to get better and better and better? Yes. All right, type in the chat box. Yes, okay. Regina, Danette, Munsa, Lisa, Kimberly, Nancy. Yes, okay. Yolanda, Jillian. All right, good. Jones here. Okay, great. I love it. I love it. Okay, great. Yes, okay. June says, I can attest to that. Lost the study and things are complicated. Absolutely. That's what happens. That's what happens. I understand that. I know that. And it's the truth. You see, the best thing that you can do for yourself is gather the awareness, continue to expand. Vladdy touched on that just before we started today. It's exceedingly valuable to you to get in the study, stay in the study, and never leave it. I began studying in January 1979. I will never stop studying these materials. Bob Proctor never stopped studying these materials. Why? Because your awareness will continue to expand. And if you want to accelerate your results, that's definitely one of the ways that you can accomplish that, is by having that commitment. And we're going to talk about commitment today. So when I go through my slides, which I'm about to do, there's going to be some real life-changing messages that are in here. I want you to be open to it. I want you to be open to receive, because you may hear something, you may hear many things that really alter your present level of thinking, your conditioning, the way you're currently conditioned, the habits that you're involved in. And I know that this will change your life. I like what Vladdy just wrote here. Bring your full focus into this session and please take notes. We believe in every single one of you and we are here to serve. What if today was the day that your life changed for better forever? Wow, Vladdy. Woo, I got goosebumps reading that. That is incredible. And what a brilliant message. And absolutely, I think the same thing. Last week or the week before, Phil Goldfine, who's a very good friend of mine, and I delivered an event in Hollywood. We were right at Universal Studios, and we were very blessed to serve some incredible people who are actually on this call. And Phil had said at the end of the week, he said it was such a transformative week, not only for the participants, because we were very blessed to serve some incredible people, but also he said for him, it was a big shifting experience for him. Now, why did that happen? Because he's constantly open to that. I found the same thing, major shifts that will occur when you're open to receive. It's important to be open to receive. It's also important to be open to receive good, prosperity, abundance, love, success. And how many of you feel that you're really ready for that? You're really ready to receive the success that you deserve. Now, you may find that even as I say that, there might be a little bit of a pop-up of an old belief when I said the word deserve, because I know one of the beliefs that people have, which is definitely a block, is they don't believe they deserve success. And if that's there, then you need to replace it. Now, what would you replace it with? A belief that you are deserving of success. Good. All right. So we've got a whole bunch of people that are ready and they do believe that they deserve. So when Roddy had referenced this before we started today, one of the things that Roddy did when we were planning this event was he got it in his mind, which is a brilliant mind, by the way. He got it in his mind to do a survey for everyone that was joining our event today. And he asked people a series of very thought-provoking questions. And one of the questions was, what do you think, or what do you believe is the thing that's blocking your success? And there were some really interesting answers that came as a result of that. And all of the responses that came in, the team, that's me, Roddy, Vladdy, Kayla, we all read them. We read the responses that are coming in. And we read them because we want to respect you and give you the guidance that's required to get you from where you are to where you want to go. So that's why we study this material. We study you. We want to help understand how we can help you more. And I know many of the people that are here, some of you are already engaged in programs that we have, like skipping levels or like the annual all access pass. Or some that are here are also involved in the private mentoring, and that's great and that's wonderful. But you know what I love is when I see new names that come up here and familiar names as well, because I know that you're hungry for more. That's me. I'm always hungry for more, hungry to expand my own awareness. Why? Because I know that the more I get, the more I understand, the more I can give to you as well, and the better my results get. And they're pretty darn amazing. And I am an example, not bragging. This is not an ego thing. I am definitely an example of transforming one's life from serious struggle to creating phenomenal success in every area, you know, from relationships to health, to the way that I live, to building a business as well. And yeah, so Roddy just wrote, Jennifer had asked the question, you know, I have an underlying belief of fear of success. How do I get over that? Love that question. We're definitely going to address that further in our call here today. So I'm going to get into it. It likely will be answered when I'm going through the slides, but I'm coming back to that question. We'll come back, Roddy. Remind me again to get to Jennifer's question first when we get to our question part. But as we're going through the slides, just write down the message that really makes the biggest impact. And we're going to have a little section a little later, and we're going to open up and talk about that. And it's going to be interaction that's going to cause us to make the decision of who we're going to reward with the wonderful, powerful 4 square that I have created. I love that. Okay, so let's dive into our slides, and let's start from here. This slide basically says that understanding your beliefs to change your results. See, this seminar or webinar is all about you. That's really what it's all about. So while we're going through this, you're going to be thinking about yourself. You're going to be thinking about what your current belief system is. And obviously, at least I think it's obvious, is you're going to be thinking about how can you create a belief system that will put you on the trajectory for success, almost like an autopilot, like a servo mechanism, because that, in fact, is how your brilliant mind works. Now, you're already programmed. You've been programmed a certain way. Doesn't matter how old you are. We got people on this call that are a wide range of ages. We've got my daughter-in-law, Kayla, who's 31 years of age, and I'm 65. Now, I've been on the planet 65 years. Kayla's been on the planet 31 years. And we each have our own set of beliefs. Now, Kayla was fortunate enough to have access to these materials at a young age as well, and she has a really strong belief system. In fact, I've got an example of a belief that Kayla decided to adopt and accept into her mind, and how she created phenomenal results as well. But we're really here for you. We've been saying that over and over again, that we're here for you. We're here to help you get better results in your life, regardless of where you are at the current time, regardless of what you have done or haven't done. I'm going to talk to you about how you can release the past as well, because that is a definite big barrier for creating better results that people have created as their reality, which in fact is an illusion. The past is the past, it's gone. So we got to understand how to really overcome those limiting beliefs that are within every single person, because there are limiting beliefs within every single person. Now, the common response to the survey indicate that your beliefs are the only thing holding you back, which is the truth. It is the only thing holding you back. I remember years ago, many, many years ago, my good friend and mentor, Bob Proctor, called me one day, and we were having a chat about a particular goal that I had in mind. And Bob said these words. He says, if you want it, get it. You're the only one standing in your way. Well, I already knew that. It was a wonderful reminder of a truth that we already know. And this is the same for every single person that's either on this webinar live or you're watching the replay. You are the only one in your way. But you know what's great about that? You're also the solution. So yeah, you're the problem. You're the one that's blocking, you're putting the crimp in the hose and blocking the flow, but you're also the one that has the ability to allow the flow to come to you, to allow a flow of abundance to come into your life with abundance, if that's something that you desire. So the common response is, it's not that it's a judgment or something that we should get upset about. In fact, I say celebrate it because you have an awareness. The awareness is that there is something within you that's holding you back. And just like we saw with the questions that were asked here, Jennifer's question is a great example. Fear of success. Is that belief that there's a fear of success something that could hold people back from success? Is it? I want to ask you guys, if you believe that having the belief that you're afraid of success would be something that would hold you back, type in the chat box if you believe that could be something that has been holding you back. Yeah, of course. Absolutely. No? Why not? It's absolutely holding you back. There's no doubt about it. It's holding you back, but it doesn't have to. And you can change it in an instant. Now, how do you change that belief from having a fear of success? You embrace success. You look for the gifts in success. I remember a year ago, I was working with a client. It was a private mentoring client. And she had a block for abundance, for finance, for money. Maybe some of you can relate to that. And I asked her what her beliefs are around money. And I was asking her a series of questions that really brought it out. But what she discovered by having this call together is that she felt shame whenever she thought of having more abundance. Now, if you have the feeling of shame as it relates to having more prosperity or abundance in your life, are you going to even want to attract it? No. Why not? Because it doesn't bring good feelings. You see, everything that we want it for one reason and one reason only, for the feeling it brings. I remember Bob used to say, people don't want money because they want pieces of paper with dead notables on them. He said, people want money because of the feeling that it brings. So if I ask everyone that's on this call live right now, if you, oh, I like what Heidi wrote here. She said, I used to have that thought too, but not anymore. Thanks to you, Peggy. I love that, Heidi. But it's thanks to you, Heidi. That's who you should be thanking. And so, if we think about abundance and prosperity and having more in your life, what would it feel like for you if you had all the money you needed, all the money in the world, and you never wanted for anything else? How would that feel? Just take a moment. Imagine that for a moment. How would that feel? Yes, Kathy nailed it. Freedom. It would feel great, says Muncie. Yes. All right. Good. Good, good, good. Okay. Joy. I love it. Yeah. My donations, June. I love that. Like, June, that's who you are. You're a giver. I watched you. You did some more volunteer work. June has been doing volunteer work for years. Isn't it great to give? Why? It's freeing. It's ecstatic. I feel alive and so at peace, says Clinton. Freedom and time, like the time to do what you want, when you want, with whoever you want. Uplifting, says Diane. Now, could you, now this is kind of like a tricky question, could you feel that abundance right now? Could you feel prosperity right now? Yeah, Vladdy's nodding her head. Of course. Yeah, Roddy's nodding his head. Yes, says Maddie. Maddie the healer. Yes, with your imagination. That's absolutely. A bit, Lisa? Well, what about a lot? What if you just took a moment, Lisa, right now and imagine you're the wealthiest woman in the world, right? Could you do that? Yeah, feeling is the key. That's right, Eva. It's the secret. It's the secret to everything. But this is what you do. You see, you chose to give your attention to something, even in a moment. It may not be your standard way of being. It may not be your habitual feeling that you're involved in. But what you did was, in response to the question that I asked you, you gave it your attention. You shed your light on it. You're going to see a slide on that in a little bit. Speaking of slides, let's go back to my slides so that we can cover all this off. This is great. And I will be doing a lot of that. I'm going to go back and forth. I'll stop, share, I'll come back. I'll dialogue with you. I'll ask for answers as well. Really want to keep this high energy and engaged and have you continue to get a lot of value. So the beliefs are going to hold you back, but the beliefs can also set you free. So if you chose to accept the idea that you are already prosperous, that you already have, that you desire, in that moment, what you've done is you've activated a new belief. And through constant repetition, you can create and build that belief so that it becomes a part of who you are. And so that you ultimately become a prosperous person. And that's your way of being. It's your natural way of being. Now, some of you have heard me share the story of when I first started dating my husband, Denis. We started dating. Now, Denny was in the military, the Canadian military. He was a pilot, and he'd been in the military his entire career. And we start dating, and I'm an entrepreneur. I started my business in 1994. So we're celebrating our 30 years of being in business. And so we start dating, and we're standing in my kitchen. We're getting ready to go out. And he asks me this question. And it's probably a very logical question and probably made sense to him to ask the question. So he asked me this question. He said this: what happens when you're not earning money? So he asked the question, and I was confused. And so just like my little doggies, I have two little white doggies, I tilted my head like, I don't understand the question. And I said that to him. I said, I don't understand the question. What happens when I'm not earning money? I'm always earning money. I'm a money earning machine. So what did I say to Denis? I told him my belief. That's the belief I have about me. Now, if you believe that that's your belief, would you ever be challenged financially? If you believe you're always earning money, that you're always prosperous, that you have an abundance, that you are already wealthy, would you feel challenged or feel lack? No. Why not? Because it's impressed in your mind. But you may think, well, what if I don't have the money? You have to do this. Roddy referenced this when he was doing his warm-up before we open up the webinar today. He talked about Neville Goddard's great comment, one of my favorite comments of Neville Goddard: deny the evidence of the senses. Deny the evidence of the senses. What does that mean? Stop looking at what is and expecting better results. It's never going to work. Never going to work. So if you want more prosperity, you got to see yourself being prosperous. You got to accept that you're already prosperous. You have to know that you're already prosperous. You see, I had built that belief system within me through repetition of affirming it and building it and constantly giving it energy. So if there was a short period of time when I may have been not having the funds that I desired, I wouldn't allow that to build a new belief of lack or debt, or that's who I was, in struggle. I just chose not to go there. It's like, don't go there. Have you ever had a conversation with a friend and they say, don't go there, don't go there? Why? Because it's painful, right? It doesn't feel good to go there. So don't go there in your consciousness. Don't go to the places that don't feel good. It's not going to support you. And every time you do go there to the places that don't feel good, it's expanding and expanding and expanding and expanding. You don't want to do that. No, you want to give your attention over to what you absolutely want. I remember that such a great analogy of this was when Tony Robbins talked about one time he was in a race car and he was on a track, like a NASCAR track. And he was driving at a very rapid rate, like maybe 180 miles per hour. That's pretty fast, right? And he's holding onto the wheel of this race car and he sees the wall like right in front of him. He's like, oh my God, there's a wall. And his instructor did this with his head. He grabbed his head and he turned it. And he said he turned it because he wanted Tony to look at where he wanted to go and not look at the wall, right? You don't want to go crashing into the wall. So when Denny and I met and he said, what happens when you're not earning money? I'm like, that's just not who I am. You do not accept ideas that are not who you are. You reject them. reject them. You see, with your conscious mind, with your thinking mind, with your rational mind, you have the ability to accept or reject. You can accept or reject everything I'm saying to you right here, right now. Now, I suggest you accept it all because it's all going to help you. It's going to help you grow. It's going to help you improve your results. But you have that choice. And I really feel we've been given a great gift when we've been brought into this earthly plane. And one of the gifts we've been given many gifts, but one of them is choice. You have a choice. You have a choice how you're going to live your life. It's not all predestined. It's not. You can choose to live your life. All different options are available to you. And no, it's not about your education, where you live, how old you are, how young you are. It's not that. It's not that at all. If I can be somebody who came, through this life in a very abusive, dysfunctional environment, all messed up and suicidal as a teenager in a very poor family, in a tiny, tiny home, and build my life to be incredible. And I'm not talking about financial. It's not that. Now, yes, I had that too, but it's not that. Live your life fulfilled. How incredible that is. I know it. Anybody can do it. In one of our study groups, we've been studying a book by Wayne Dyer. Wayne Dyer was a wonderful gift to this world. He was actually a client of mine as well. I helped him take his book to the top of the charts. And in his book, he talked about that. How likely would it be for a young man who was raised by a single mother who struggled? He ended up being in foster care for a period of time, had poor grades, was a bit of a troublemaker in some ways. How is it possible that this man could grow to be a wonderful being, a successful author, somebody who earned millions of dollars, who made a big impact in this world when he came from that environment? You see, a lot of people believe the conditions have to be just right. That's baloney. The conditions don't have to be right. You just have to make a decision. We're going to bring Vladdy on a little while, and she's going to talk about the power of making a decision as if you're already the person that you want to be. That's what she suggests, and I love that. It's brilliant. You make decisions as the person that you desire to be. Why would you do that? Because it builds the belief system within you and reinforces that belief system. Now, I want you to understand this. Even as I say that, I think to myself, a lot of people hear that. I heard that many, many years ago when I first started studying that and thought, oh, okay, well, that's the solution. That's the answer. And then would move to the place of, okay, well, I'm going to make a decision. I'm going to do this. I was signing up for programs all over the place and didn't have the money to do it. And it's like, what the heck am I doing? Like adding more debt to what I already had. And I realized that in that experience that there is a lot of discomfort. There is a tremendous amount of discomfort in that process. It's part of the growth. You will feel discomfort. And one of my friends used to say, get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. It's not that you're going to be feeling uncomfortable forever. It's not that at all. In fact, if you're constantly in a state of discomfort, then you're not aligned either. So the discomfort comes when you make a decision to do something you've never done before. This is what's called the battle. We're going to talk about that as we get into our slides. Let's go back to our slides so we can talk about that. Like really building beliefs that can set you free. I want you to think about what are some of the beliefs that you could create, that you could buy into, that you could have for yourself that would set you free. Maybe it's that success is wonderful, that success allows you the freedom to serve people in better ways, Jennifer. I mean, I'm not sure, Jennifer, what you do for a living, but you can change that belief that success is not something to fear. Success is something that you can treasure, that you can feel grateful for, that you can appreciate. It's like the statement that Wayne Dyer said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So what is that? It's perception. You see, your beliefs are controlling your perception, how you view things. But you can change that because why? Because I said earlier, you've been given the gift of choice. You have a choice to change your perceptions. It's like this statement: if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And I believe that this particular quote was tagged to Henry Ford. Well, I think about the story of Henry Ford when he had gone to his team in his manufacturing plant And he said to the people that were working there, he said, build me an 8-cylinder engine. And they said, it can't be done. And he said, it can be done, do it. And so he believed it could be done. Had it been done before? No. Had they done it before? No. But they believed it could be done. If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Like, did I believe, when I think about 1994, I incorporated a business. I didn't have business experience. I was working in the corporate world, but had never started a company. And no, my parents weren't entrepreneurs. My father was a janitor. My mother worked in a factory until she got a job as a checkout clerk at a grocery store. I didn't have the models of success. I didn't go to college or university and was trained for this. But what did I have? What did I have that's essential for all success? And we're going to we'll have a slide in here a little while where we're going to talk about it. And the answer is desire. It's all about the desire. Now, I believe that everyone that's here, you have a desire. You have a desire for more. You have a desire for better results. You have a desire to perhaps acquire something. You have a desire to do something, to be something, to accomplish something. And if you have that desire, you can do it. And you do not have to know how. You do not. So what's the difference between the person who succeeds versus the person who fails? What is the difference between the person who goes for their dreams and the one who doesn't? Now, I would like you to answer that question. Answer that question and type your answers in the chat box. What do you believe is the difference between the person who succeeds versus the person who fails? And what is the difference between the person who goes for their dreams and they don't know how they're going to get there, they're going for it anyway, and the one who doesn't? Let's see what the answers are. Let's go over to the chat box and see what they are. Okay, good. I love it. Okay, so some of the answers are desire. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. That was the answer that I was looking for. Are there other answers? Definitely there's other answers. Desire, the seed to success, says Jackie G. Yes. Their belief. Yes. Their belief, their paradigms. Definitely. The difference is their own belief. Yeah, belief and action, says George. Absolutely. You have to be taking action too. The will to do it. Definitely. Confidence. They believe in themselves. The use of their imagination, says Joanna. Absolutely. Persistence and determination, says Susan. I love that answer. So true. Absolutely true. Nancy, their mindset. Sharon, belief and then taking action. Kim, belief. Marianne, the person who says I can. Yes, belief and desire. The person who believes, desire, faith, sets goal will get you there. Belief and persistence. Committed, decision. Okay, so you get the idea, right? Absolutely, you guys understand this. Belief, desire, actions. Thank you, Yolanda. I love it. When the desire doesn't come through when expected, you start to doubt about yourself. Oh, Billionaire Pete's here. I love that Billionaire Pete is here. Yeah, it's true. It has to be from desire. Desire, you have to have a feeling for it. It's not a right or wrong answer. It's just, do you want it? I always think about that question. Do you want it? In fact, Billionaire Pete's here. And Billionaire Pete is a friend, and he started as a client, and we were very blessed to invest a weekend. My husband and I invested a weekend with Billionaire Pete last September, and we're out on our boat. We're on the lake at Charleston Lake, which is just south of here in Ottawa. And there was a property that was for sale on this lake. And I saw it when it came on the market. It was $12.5 million. And it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I knew it was on this lake that we were staying that weekend. And when we were out in the boat, I saw it and I pointed to it. It's a pretty big lake. And I said to my husband, I said, there's that property that I showed you that's $12.5 million. And he goes, do you want to go closer? And I said, definitely. And as we're getting closer, I'm thinking to myself, this place is for sale. It's like what Dr. Joseph Murphy says, that is for sale. If you see something that's for sale, it's energy. Can you have it? Yes, if you get aligned with that. So while we're driving over there in the boat, I'm thinking to myself, I can hear Bob Proctor's voice. And Bob's saying, do you want it? Do you want it? This is the question you have to ask yourself when you're looking at anything, at doing anything. Because if you want it and it's a desire, you're going to find a way. You're going to find a way. Now, we ended up getting close to this $12.5 million property, and one of the owner's friends was standing on the dock, and he saw us and he waved us in. We ended up spending 6 hours with the guys that were there and had a wonderful day. And billionaire Pete can attest to that. It was an incredible day. And I realized from being there for that 6 hours, I didn't want it. It wasn't something that I want, but that's what you have to ask yourself when you're thinking about doing something or accomplishing something or buying something, and you don't have the money or you don't have the funds right now. Just ask yourself, do I want it? Because if you want it, there is a seed of desire that's within you. And if you have that desire, you will find a way. You'll absolutely find a way. As I mentioned earlier, when we started this call, I mentioned that we do have an offer. We've created something brand new, and I'm going to show it to you in a little while. It's called Mind Conditioning Accelerator. And some of you are going to look at this and you're going to think, oh, I really want that. I really want to be a part of it. But you might be thinking that you don't have the money for it, or you can't afford it, or whatever. All you have to ask yourself is, do you want it? Because if you make a decision that you want it, you're going to find a way. That's exactly what's happened for me over the years with everything, even with purchasing real estate, multi-million-dollar real estate purchases as well. You got to understand it works, and it works for absolutely everyone. These techniques work for absolutely everyone. So is the desire there, and are you willing and ready to commit? Now, you've heard this expression before. It is easier said than done. It's easier said than done, but it's not that it's difficult to do it, to move into action. And I think about this statement, and I think about building a belief system or getting to where you want to go, a goal as an example. And there's different ways that you can approach it. You can approach it with ignorance, which is not necessarily going to be the easy route, very likely the most challenging, or you can approach it with awareness. And awareness is accomplished through the study and through the understanding, and obviously through the accomplishment as well. So what makes the goal achievement so much easier is by getting more understanding. It's like that quote by Solomon, "In all thy getting, get understanding." Like, I absolutely believe and know to be true that awareness is absolutely everything for success. When I was working with Bob, we actually incorporated a company and we taught seminars for a long time. And Bob was asked the question, how do I accelerate my results? And, some of you probably have the desire to really accelerate your results. Maybe you've been in the study for a long time and haven't produced the results that you want, and you're really ready for that breakthrough. And his answer was with awareness. How do you accelerate your results? With awareness. Awareness means that you're gathering more information to have the understanding of what's necessary to do in order to experience what it is that you desire. And that's really what we're here to do. We're expanding your awareness. That's what my company does. That's what my entire team does. We're all here to help expand your awareness. Why? So that you produce better and better results. So is it easier said than done? Definitely. But the beliefs that you have within your subconscious mind are already there. You're already programmed. You're already conditioned a certain way. Were formed or created, and they can also be changed by information, by what you're taking in through your senses. This is how beliefs are formed. They are formed by information. That's why by the time I met Bob in January 1979, and I was what would be considered a pretty messed up girl because of the beliefs that have been formed in my mind. I was extremely insecure. I was very upset. I was angry at the world. I thought it was everybody else's fault, that my life was a mess. I was completely ignorant to these teachings. And when Bob got on the stage and he started to speak, I was just like sitting there with my mouth gaped open. Oh my God, this is brilliant. This is incredible. I had no idea. I had never heard these things before. He quoted Vernon Howard and he said, "You can't escape from a prison unless you know you're in one." I was in a prison. I was locked away in a prison that wasn't even locked, but it was something that I had created in my own mind. How did I get out? I enrolled in his programs over and over and over again, but applied what I was learning. It's important that you apply, but you're taking this information in through your senses, just like you're doing right here, right now. through your hearing, through your sight, right? You're taking in, gathering information. Now you have the ability to accept or reject. Now I suggest you accept all of it because I know it's only going to help you. But it's through the repetition that you build the solid beliefs that are within you. So you're already programmed a certain way. Now, what's fascinating about you is that these beliefs are within you. They're within your subconscious mind. And whether you had an upbringing like mine, or maybe something better, or maybe something worse, whatever, it's not a comparison here. Your beliefs you can change, regardless of how deep they may have been impressed. But they'll always be a part of who you are. That's the reason why beliefs will continue to come back up, and attempt to draw you back and pull you back. But you're going to be bigger than that, and you're going to be stronger than that, and you're going to overpower them with new sets of beliefs. And I'll explain how to do that. So it's repetition that forms the new beliefs. Now, my absolute favorite technique is by using what I call the Power Life Script. And the Power Life Script is where you script out your life as you choose for it to be, as if it's already happening, as if it's in your life right now, as if you're already wealthy, as if you're already a success, as if all of this is easy for you, as if it's fun for you, that you're living an incredible life. You script it. And this is what makes this technique so incredibly powerful. Once you script it and you record it, all you have to do is push play, push play. There's no easier technique on the planet than that. And you listen again and again and again. I've already programmed my subconscious mind for hours today and yesterday, and I'll do it tomorrow and the next day. This is something that I got involved with many, many years ago, decades ago. That's the reason why you put yourself on a trajectory for success. And even if you deviate for a moment, you'll put yourself right back on track. Even if you deviate for a little bit, right back on track. You don't define yourself as that challenging situation. And I am a very, very, very clear example of that, because some of you may or may not know that 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with metastatic cancer. And I only found out a couple of weeks ago it was actually stage 4. Now I'm here in flesh, completely healthy and feeling top of the world, energetic, as you can tell, is gone, 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 bye-bye. So when that happened in my life, I didn't accept it. This is not who I am. I am not a cancer survivor. I'm not a cancer patient. It was something that was in my physical body. We got rid of it. It's gone, bye-bye, bye-bye. How did I do it? With my mind and the doctors. I listened to the oncologists. I did what they said. I followed through with the treatment. It was brutal. It was hell. I was hospitalized. I was really on death's door. I was, quite bad shape, but I never, ever, ever, ever lost sight of being healthy. Did it knock me off track? Oh, yeah. Very much it knocked me off track, but I put myself right back on track. Now, I had a friend who got the same type of cancer, interestingly enough, and he passed away last June. And he was younger than I am. But he accepted that diagnosis as a prognosis of, this isn't going to go well. This isn't going to end well. He accepted that as his idea. I didn't. I rejected that idea, totally rejected that idea. This is not going to take me down. I got a lot to do here on this planet, and I am here to serve. I am not playing small in any way whatsoever. And I wasn't afraid to let the world know either. I wasn't concerned about that, because what you think of me, it's none of my business. Like Terry Cole Whitaker's book. She wrote a book by that same title. We studied it in our club, Achieve. What you think of me is none of my business. Now think about that for a moment. What anyone thinks of you, even if they're very important people in your life, it's none of your business. Do not allow someone else to rob you of your glory, to take away from you something that is rightfully yours. What's rightfully yours? Every one of you, what's rightfully yours is your success. You got to grab it, baby. You got to name it and claim it. And today's the day to do that. How many of you are with me on that? Type in the chat box if you're with me on that, accepting it. Amy says, preach, Peggy. I'm so passionate about this. I'm like sweating like crazy here. All right, guys. Yes. Oh, Greg's here. All right, Greg. I accept success now, says Sharon. Yeah, I love that. Absolutely love that. Joan, I accept. Yes, says Luz. I love it. Got goosebumps by hearing that. Yeah, like it can change your life by accepting that. You see, I had a choice 3 years ago when I'm sitting in the oncologist department and they told me, like, this is what's going on. Like when I went in for a biopsy and they're sticking a needle in this side of my neck, I'm like saying to the doctor, why are you sticking the needle here? The lump is over here. He goes, oh no, there's more over here. More? It's like, what? It's not going to take me down. Deny the evidence of the senses. Think about that statement. Write it down. Deny the evidence of the senses. You deny the evidence of the senses. Was there cancer in my physical body? Yeah. I'm not accepting it. What am I seeing in my mind's eye? Healthy body, healthy Peggy, energetic Peggy. Peggy doing her seminars again, right? Deny the evidence of the senses. Money, same thing. In 1995, I went through a divorce. I decided I'm buying a house. Didn't have money to buy a house. The matrimonial home was on the market. We couldn't sell it, kept decreasing the price. Nobody's buying. It was a tough market at the time. Now, what would most people say? Well, even my ex-husband said to me, well, go get an apartment. I'm not getting an apartment. I'm choosing a house. My desire is to own a home. Okay. So I'm denying the evidence of the census. The census said, you don't have any money. But I knew I didn't need that. I had Bob Proctor as my coach and mentor saying, do you want it? Do you want it? Yes, I want it. Okay. Well, let's go to our little square here. Now that you have that home, now that you're living in the home, now that you own that home, how does it feel? Feels great. Okay. Go straight to feeling. Go straight to feeling. Well, but what if I don't come out with the money? What if I don't come out with the money? What would you love, Peggy? I'd love to own this home. What does that feel like? Feels great. All right. Go straight to feeling. Go straight to feeling. Now, Eva says, do you think it's harder for women to distinguish between their wants and those of others? No, I don't think so. Maybe you do. Is that a belief that supports you? Non-judgment. It's very important to understand the questions that you're asking are often coming from a belief that's there. It's good to know that it's there. Do I think it's harder for women? No, I don't think it's harder. Not at all. We're all the same. We're all the same. I remember like hearing speakers say that when I was early in the study of these materials. Bob Proctor would say that. Tony Robbins would say that. We're all the same. There's nobody in this room that's any different than me or you. And I believe that. I believe it now, but I didn't at the time. I'm looking at this 6'7" guy who's on stage with 1,100 people in the room from 70 different nations thinking, we're all the same? Like I'm the same as you, Tony? But now I understand it. I absolutely understand it. And I believe it's true. It's absolutely believe it true. You got to think about what beliefs do you have that serve you? I want you to think about that right now. What are the beliefs that you have that are serving you? What did I say earlier when I talked about meeting my husband for the first time, when he said, what happens when you're not earning money? And I responded with, I'm always earning money. I'm a money earning machine. Is that a belief that serves me? Yes, absolutely. I want you to think about what beliefs you have that serve you. Now, here's something else I suggest that you do. Think about what beliefs can you accept that will also serve you. Okay, what beliefs could you accept that will also serve you? This is a very valuable exercise to do. There we go. We're getting some answers here. I'm persistent, says Clinton. I love that, Clinton. I love that. I want to stop and talk about that for a moment because what Clinton wrote there is brilliant. I hear a lot of people asking me, especially about managing your time, right? Like I'm a real action taker. Is that a belief that will serve me? Yes. Now, I have a lot of people who say they get ideas, they procrastinate, they don't seem to do anything. Are those beliefs that serve you? No. What do you want to do with that garbage? You want to take it to the curb. Right? Like every other week here where I live here in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, we have garbage day. Now, what do? We throw stuff in a bin. And then on that Friday, we take the bin out to the end of the road and along comes a truck and it takes it away. Are we thinking about that garbage? Are we giving energy to that garbage? Are we, emotionally involved in what that garbage is? No, we let it go. We let it go. You got to do that with the beliefs that aren't serving you. You got to let them go, baby. They are not helping you. They are absolutely not helping you. They will not serve you. We're going to talk about that in a little while as well, because it's important that you have that depth of understanding. And I really want, like I saw some comments in the survey that came in, there's some of you that really need to do the releasing of these old beliefs that are not serving you. The past is the past. You can't do anything about it. It's gone. It's like Bob used to say, let the dead bury the dead. And I didn't really understand that. Now I understand it. He also said, you can't change the time you got out of bed this morning. As far as I know, you cannot do that. You cannot change the time you got out of bed this morning. So that means you can't do anything about what's happened in the past. So you have to understand that. So repetition forms the beliefs. And if any of you are not using the Power Life script, start today. Absolutely, it's the best thing that you can do for yourself. Now, if you're wondering how to start today, if you have an iPhone, it's free. It's an app that's free. So just go to your Apple store and type in Power Life Script and you'll find the app. Start using it. We just released a new version of the app this morning and gave an example, a sample script that you can use. You don't even have to create your own. Use the one that I recorded. Or go to powerlifescript.com, powerlifescript.com, and invest in yourself and invest in the program. It's only $97. Okay, so if we think about dark beliefs, like I like the metaphor of an iceberg, because when we see an iceberg, the bulk of it is below the surface, right? Below the water. And that's where the strength is, right? That's like our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind is really running the show. Our subconscious mind is where our beliefs are housed, right? How did they get in there? Well, we accepted them. We took in information through our senses, and that formed our beliefs. Now, when I met Bob Proctor in January 1979, I was filled with a lot of darkness, a lot of darkness. They were negative, destructive, non-supportive beliefs that are there. And how did I know? Look at my results. I was a pretty miserable girl. I was in debt already when I met him. I had a job I didn't love. I was going from relationship to relationship. It was not a pretty scenario. And so I had to get to work. And I was committed to make the change in my life. But it took an enormous amount of effort, which I'm grateful to do. But you've got to stop letting those limiting beliefs hold you back, like the things like you're not worthy of success I referenced earlier. You know, one of my previous beliefs that I decided to take out to the trash and have the truck take it away on a Friday was the belief that I wasn't worthy of love. I had that belief. And I recognized it when I went through a divorce, because I started to realize, there's a pattern in these relationships that I was involved in. I'd get in a relationship, be in a relationship for a couple of years, and I would end that relationship. I'd get in another relationship, end that relationship. And I realized that when I went through the divorce, I didn't believe I was worthy of love. If you have a belief of not being worthy of success, worthy of abundance, worthy of acclaim, worthy of love, that will hold you back. You may be trying or doing all kinds of things, but if you hold on tight to that belief by giving it more energy, by reinforcing it with your thoughts and feelings, it just intensifies. And we don't want that. Now, if you're thinking, as you're seeing this slide and as you hear me talking, that you do have a belief that's been holding you back, acknowledge that it's there. Celebrate that you're now aware, and then choose to change it. It's important to change it. So where do we really see our beliefs? How do we even know what they are or recognize what they are? It's not important for you to analyze your beliefs. Now, I say analyze that way because a lot of people get pretty anal about this. They need to discover what's wrong, what's holding them back, where their negative and destructive beliefs are in order to get to where they want to go. No, that's not true. You do not. Now, I'm going to explain why not in a moment. But how do we know what the beliefs are? We just look at someone's results. Listen to their dialogue when they're having a conversation. We're on a call this morning, and I can tell what someone's beliefs are by the way that they're communicating, by the things that they're saying. Not to judge it, as I said, but to have the awareness to notice it's there. To notice it's there. And then what do you do about it? Well, you change it. How do you change it? Well, you actually don't change it because it's always going to be a part of you, but you give attention to a new belief that's going to support you. You give your attention to a new belief that's going to support you. So if we use the simple example of worthiness, what would be a belief that would support somebody who doesn't believe they're worthy? I am worthy. I am worthy. I am worthy of everything that I desire. Now, what if you really believe that? Would that change your results? Likely, very likely it would change your results. So when Jennifer had asked the question earlier about fear of success, and it's evident because she's asked the question, which is brilliant. I'm grateful that she brought it to our attention. What would be a belief that would support Jennifer? I am thrilled with success. I embrace success. I accept success in my life. Success is a wonderful thing. Success just brings more and more good into my life. Now, I just rhymed off a bunch of different beliefs that she could choose to accept. So you have to accept these new beliefs and then build them until they become one with you. Just like I said to my husband, Denny, when he was my boyfriend and we were dating, I am a money earning machine. Why was I able to say that so easily, so confidently? Because it's a belief that I have created within myself. It's something that I chose to believe. Now, if your beliefs are disempowering or if your beliefs are negative, it will stop you, literally blind you from seeing opportunities that are right in front of you. So you could have a belief that you can't do something. You're not an entrepreneur. You'll never be good at this. And if that's the belief, it will blind you from seeing where the opportunities already are. You know, I'm very blessed to work with many incredible beings, and a number of them are here on this call. And one of them, she might be on the call as well. I didn't look to see if she's here or not, but I'm going to mention her. And a lovely woman that I've known for many, many years. She's been a client for many, many years. And when we started working together, one of her objectives was to purchase a home. And what happened, I'm just going to stop this share here so I can see you. What happened was when she started looking for a home in a particular area, she didn't see anything that she wanted. Now, this is a great example of deny the evidence of the senses. And that's what I suggested. Don't look at what's there. You got to imagine yourself right into the feeling of living in a home that you love and living in the perfect home where you wake up every day and you just feel such gratitude for owning this home. Now, she was feeling a little anxious about the timing of things because she had to move and didn't want to move again to a rental. She wanted to purchase the perfect home and be residing in the perfect home. And my recommendation to her, which would be for anyone, is relax in the knowing that it's already done. Relax in the knowing that it's already done. Now, as she's looking for homes and doesn't see what she wants, what happens? She was inviting in the anxiousness. Is that going to serve her? Absolutely not. It will not serve her. It is not going to get her to where she wants to go. But if she denied the evidence of the senses, the market may not have, the house for sale at that time, deny it and just go in her mind in this place to her imagination and imagine that she's there. She's bought that home. She's living in that home. She's waking up in the home. She's doing her dishes at the sink in the home. Could that be enough to accomplish the goal? Yes, absolutely. You're believing in something that's invisible, something that you can't even necessarily point to, but it all happens in here, in your mind. And the other day, she sent me an email with something like, you're not going to believe this. I love those emails. You're not going to believe this, because she found the perfect home and she bought that home. And she's put the offer in, the offer is accepted. They're going through the inspections right now, and she's firming up that deal and she's moving into that home. Deny the evidence of the senses. Focus on what you want, even when there's no evidence of it in sight. Now, that can be a challenge to do for sure. I know when I had purchased a home, didn't have the money to do it, and I went and bought it anyway. I signed my name on a legally binding contract that meant I was committed to buying this house. And if I didn't follow through, which I didn't go there in my mind, you don't want to give energy to, what if I don't follow through? What if I don't come up with the money? What if, is that serving you? No. So you get to a point where you know enough to not go down that road of destruction, that road of crashing against the wall like Tony, right? Look here. You want to take your attention and put it over to where you want to go. That's what you want to do. And every time you do that, You're building your belief. You're building it. You're reinforcing it and reinforcing it. This is daily work, my friends. Daily work, but fun work and incredibly rewarding as well. Exceptionally rewarding. So if we think about that, there are varying degrees of beliefs, and some are more impactful than others. And this is an example of our iceberg, again, that represents the conscious mind, the top part, and the subconscious mind, that represent less impactful beliefs in making a decision to trigger new beliefs. So when I decided to buy a home and I didn't have the money, I had to trigger some new beliefs. That I'm worthy of owning this home, that I have the money to buy this home, that it was easy to complete the deal on this home, that I easily paid for this home, that I own it. So you trigger new beliefs. It's like you're firing and wiring like new ideas. And how you make them more impactful is by giving them more attention. How do you give them more attention? By your emotions, by how you're feeling. Now that I'm living in my dream home, how do I feel? Now that I've attracted my soulmate, how do I feel? Now that I'm running a very successful multi-million-dollar producing business, how do I feel? What's common with all those questions? How do I feel? You want to feel yourself right into the creation. You want to feel yourself right into the manifestation of your goal. And when you give them more energy and more energy and more energy, these positive thoughts, I am worthy, I am deserving, I'm already there, I'm relaxed, I'm confident, I am successful, I'm a life changer, I am a person who's making a positive impact in this world. These are positive beliefs, and they can become your dominant way of being. How do they become your dominant way of being? Because you give it attention over and over and over and over again. Then they get built to be so strong. So when the doctor said, hey, Peggy, your physical body has an issue with it, I was wiring just like that iceberg, very, very positive beliefs. It wasn't going to take me down, was not going to take me down. Now, it could have worked for anyone who doesn't have the strong beliefs either, because you can make a decision like that. You could build beliefs and give the attention, leave it all the past behind where it belongs, and continue to build it. But I didn't accept that. I focused on the positive side of things. I focused on, what is it that you want, Peggy? Now, I'm not going to say that I didn't have any fear. Oh, yeah, I had fear. Getting that diagnosis is not something I wish on anyone. Now, did I have moments of like freaking out a little bit inside? Absolutely. But it's kind of like off track, back on track, off track, back on track. You go through that. We all go through that. What's important is that your dominant, this is very valuable to you guys, your dominant way of being is the one that's aligned with what you desire. It's your dominant way of being is going to be the one that's expressed. That's Neville Goddard's teaching. Dominant, what does that mean? The majority of your day is focused on what you desire as if it's in your life now. The majority of your day is focused on your desire as if it's in your life now. Are you currently doing that? Don't answer that question, by the way. I want you to think about that. Because if you're not currently doing that, you want to be currently doing that. Now, we've got something that can help you with that, which I'm going to share with you in a few moments. And that's the new mind conditioning accelerator. Now, we got a lot more to do in the next 55 minutes together, and we're going to get there. We've got a lot more. I'm going to answer questions because I know there's been more than just Jennifer questions that are in the right-hand side, but I'm going to get to all the questions as well. Now, success can be interesting and can reveal other deeply embedded beliefs. For example, when somebody starts to create success and they start to experience perhaps fame, we'll use that one as an example. And then they realize that, it could be challenging, or they realize that they're finding it a lot more difficult than what they maybe would love. Could that be that they found another belief that's within them that might be that success is hard, or that because you're now famous that you're going to be responsible for certain things, or that it's going to put you at risk for other things, or that you're now sacrificing your time with your family? You see, that those kinds of things can happen. It's like when you're climbing a mountain, right? You get to different summits. The view is very, very different. So we're very interesting beings, us human beings. And when people are accomplishing success, they may find that they get revealed other deeply embedded beliefs. And that's okay, because you can change those too. You can replace them with a new belief system. Because when we think about this is something that I love, this understanding and this teaching. If we look from the left to the right, the girl with the light bulb. The girl with the light bulb has made a decision to do something she's never done before. And so she's accepting and entertaining a new idea. And it's not the way that she had been previously thinking. I think about a couple different examples when I decided to become an author, as an example, 23 books later, and I had that idea and started to play with that idea. Now let's go to the middle image on this slide. This is a woman who's now in a little bit of a dark place, and what's happening for her is that she's starting to realize that there's other beliefs that are coming up in her consciousness, or other things are starting to come into her awareness. For example, when I decided to become an author, I told my parents I was going to become an author, and they're like, you? They thought it was a joke. And, but I didn't let it in. But when that happens, and I know some of you that are authors that are on this call have had this experience as well. You decide you're going to write a book. You decide you're going to become a coach. You decide you're going to become a speaker. And then the old paradigms start coming up. Who are you? What do you have to say? Why would anyone want to read what you write? Why is this important? There's so many other books out there. Now, all of those examples that I just gave are negative, destructive beliefs. Now, you got to recognize that that's going to go on, right? It's part of the process, because you're stirring things up within your subconscious mind. But you have to go to the place, and that's what the third screen's all about, is it's already a success. What would you love? What would you love as far as the result is concerned? Now that you are a successful author, how does that feel? And that's what you want to focus on. That's what you want to give energy to. Those are the kinds of beliefs that you want to build. Now, a lot of people say stuck in the middle. They stay stuck in the middle. They're dealing with these demon of beliefs, these destructive, negative beliefs that are not empowering, that are not supportive. And then what do? They throw the idea away. They never cross over. Now, this is also called the terror barrier. I love when Bob Proctor used to teach the terror barrier. This is my version of the terror barrier. It's really what it is. But when you cross over, you become a new version of you. You bring out a greater and grander version of someone that was already in there. She's already in there. He's already in there. They are already in there. The possibilities are already there. You just have to get aligned with them, which means you must build the belief system for it. So there's going to be a battle. A lot of people don't understand this battle. What's going on? What's going on? Why is there so much turmoil in it? Like the turmoil are just these old beliefs. And you got to recognize, oh, I get what's going on here. The moment you make a decision to do something you've never done before, the old paradigms are going to beliefs are going to put up a battle. You just got to recognize, I'm not giving those any more energy. They don't serve me. You're not welcome here. I'm not going to focus on you. I'm going to focus on beliefs that are going to support the outcomes that I desire. You're going to win the battle when you do that. This is daily effort. This is what your Power Life script can do as well. So building this new belief means you got to work out every day. You got to do the work. I remember Katie Byron used to talk about the work. What's the work? It's building your awareness. It's being in the programs. It's doing the exercises. It's following through. It's implementing what you're learning. That's what the work is. That's what the workout is. You condition yourself. You condition yourself to be this new version of yourself that was always there. That version was always there. That greatness was always there. Everyone has greatness within them. So you're accessing these positive beliefs because you're giving them attention. You're giving them attention by thinking about them every day, by embracing the feelings of what it feels like now that you've accomplished the goals that you've set for yourself. That's how you're accessing the beliefs. That's how you're strengthening the beliefs. That's how you're reinforcing these beliefs by daily practice. You discipline yourself. This is when my results really shifted. This is how you can change your results and shift your results. You want to saturate your mind. This is what I was doing when I was laying in a hospital bed. Yeah, I was hooked up to intravenous and all kinds of other machines and devices and pretty darn weak, had a stomach tube coming out of my tummy, but I was saturating my mind. I also had my earbuds there. I had my iPad there. I had my laptop there. I had my iPhone there. I had a backup earbuds. I had also headphones that you could plug in case my earbuds ran out of battery. I was saturating my mind. This is what you want to do. You want to saturate your mind with only those thoughts and feelings that are going to serve you over and over again. So to achieve your dreams, the things that you would love to have in your life, regardless of what they are. I just had a flashback to one of the survey responses where somebody asked, what happens when you've had a goal for a long period of time and it hasn't occurred in your life? So here's the answer. To achieve your dreams, no matter how long you've been focusing on them, you must believe that you already have them in your life, that they're already in your life. How do you believe when there's no evidence of it in sight? You use your imagination. That's how you believe it. So when I think about that question that I saw on the survey, and it's from, I know this individual, she's a very serious student. She registered for this webinar, obviously. It could be that it's the gestation period. It could be if I'm assuming you've been aligned, your dream is here, you're feeling it every day, that's alignment. If you've been aligned with your goal, feeling as if it's in your life right now, it's absolutely on track. It is being drawn to you, but your job is to feel as if it's here now. So it could be just the gestation period. I think back to in 1974, Bob Proctor wrote, he was sitting in his den in Maplewood Glen in Chicago, and he wrote out a goal that he would operate a business one day that would be in every country in this world. And somewhere around 2020 or 21, he called me and he said, I found out this morning that my business is operating in every single world or every single country in the world. He wrote that goal in 1974. Did he ever give up? No. No, he accomplished it. It may not have been as early as he would have liked, but Bob understood. He understood. Now, here's a great statement. Ralph Waldo Trine said this: you wait as the one who understands. You wait as the one who understands. What does that mean? It doesn't mean you sit on your butt and do nothing. What that means is that you understand that if you're already in alignment with what you desire, it's absolutely going to arrive in your life. It's coming. Now, you have to believe it's already here. That's your responsibility. That's waiting as the one who understands. So if for this individual that asked the question or made the comment that what do you do when you've had this goal for a long time and it hasn't manifested in your life? Stay aligned. Stay aligned. It will absolutely manifest, guaranteed. That's why your success is absolutely guaranteed when you're aligned with the outcome, believing that it's already in your life. You're building the muscle of faith. You're practicing faith by imagining that it's in your life now, not sometime in the future. But all of this takes serious discipline. You've got to be a disciplined person. I absolutely know that's why my results changed, because I made decisions to do the things to invest in myself and to implement what I was learning. I'm a big implementer. I'm somebody who is a real doer. Again, beliefs that serve you. So what you focus on directs energy. So this is a wonderful example. I asked AI to create an image for me. And this is a woman who is focusing on happy couple, happy relationship, loving couple, rather than a couple that fights, right? Like I remember having the belief many, many, many years ago that relationships equal massive pain. Now, if that's the belief that you have, do you think you'll ever have a happy relationship? Nope, not likely. You may attract it, but it likely won't stay, right? And so you've got to focus on seeing and giving energy to what you love and embrace that. You see someone else being successful, celebrate that. Give gratitude for someone else's success. You see something that someone else has that's desirable, appreciate that. It's going to serve you by appreciating somebody else's success. So just notice, what are you focusing your energy on? Are you focusing on what's wrong and what didn't work in your life or what's miserable or this or that? No, get away from that. That is destructive. It's going to keep you stuck. And that's certainly not where you want to go. If you want more abundance in your life, focus on the abundance that's in the world. See it, cherish it, celebrate it, appreciate it, give gratitude for it. Give gratitude for it, even if it isn't in your life right now. Give thanks for the things that you do have in your life right now. And all of that, all of the good will expand because you're choosing to give it attention. So you got to let go of the past. Like I remember years ago, back in the 90s, when I started doing seminars. This is before we were doing webinars online. And what I did was when I walked on stage, I had blown up like a balloon, all these big garbage bags, and I attached them with a rope around my waist. And I said, this is the way most people live their lives. They're hanging on to the old baggage of the past. They're pointing to what went wrong and what he did or what she did or what happened to them. And it's like, it's destructive. It doesn't serve you. Let it go. You can choose to look at it and say, oh, well, what was great about that? You know, where's the blessing in that? There's blessings in everything. And you got to choose to find them, right? Focusing on what happened to you or what didn't happen to you or what went wrong or what didn't go the way you wanted it to go or where the struggles were or how this happened to you or whatever does not serve you. It hurts you, hinders you. It's like bags and weights of garbage that just keep you locked. It's important to honor them, release them, let them go. Say bye-bye. And you can't discover new oceans when you hold on to the shore. It's like you got to be willing to risk, like go for it, right? There have been many times when I felt very fearful, when I've made decisions that, you know, were uncomfortable for me, but I did it anyway, because the biggest benefit is not what you're going to get. The big benefit is who you become in the process. It strengthens you. It invites you to grow, to expand in your consciousness as well. I love the story that I discovered about the 61-year-old farmer. He was a potato farmer from, I think, Australia or New Zealand. And he entered an ultra marathon race, 875 kilometers. He'd never been in a race before, had never raced, and he actually went into it with overalls and galoshes, like not the way an athlete would enter it. And a lot of people mocked him. They thought it was a joke that this 61-year-old farmer had entered into an ultra marathon. Like, what? Are you crazy? But he felt confident that he could do it. And not only did he do it, he broke the record and finished that marathon 2 days earlier than the record that had been previously set. Now, there's a story of someone that chose to accept a belief about himself, regardless of what other people were thinking and doing. And this is something that we can point to with anyone that has accomplished any success. I love the story of Laura Hillenbrand, who is the author of Seabiscuit and Unbroken, and she suffered from chronic fatigue syndrome. She was in bed. You know, all reasons why. Write a book? Like, what are you kidding? You know, she's got chronic fatigue syndrome. She didn't accept that. Not only did she write books that sold millions of copies, but both of these books were made into big mega hit movies as a result. Why? She believed she had something of value to share. It's so important. Janice Bryant Howroyd is an entrepreneur, a businesswoman, and an author. She's a founder and chief executive officer of a company called Act One Group. It's the largest privately held minority women-owned personnel company founded in the United States. Now, Howroyd is the first African-American woman to build and own a billion-dollar company. Now, that's from a number of years ago now, but she believed and she took action, right? Were there struggles? Were there challenges? Did she have to replace old beliefs with new ones? Definitely, but she did it, right? Do you believe it is important to have the belief before you take the next step? Do you believe that you have to have that belief in place before you choose to take the next step? After what you've heard here today, tell me your answer to that question. I want to see what your answers are. And I know some of you have been writing out questions, and we're definitely going to be getting to those questions in a minute. Okay, good. I appreciate the honesty here. Okay, we're getting some yeses, we're getting some nos. Okay, maybe some of you are unsure. You're thinking it's a trap. Is this a trap? No, it's not. Okay, let's go back to the slide. Okay, a lot of yeses. Okay, so now, do you believe it's important to have the belief before you take the step? No, is the answer to that question. No, it's not important that you have the belief before you take the step because you can build it as you go. It's like fly, right? You're going to find a way. Take the leap, the net will catch you. What's the net? It's the belief. I made a decision to buy a house. I didn't have the money. I didn't have the belief that this was going to be done. I was scared like crazy, but I took the step because I knew I could build the belief. So no, you don't have to have the belief before you take the step to do something. But beliefs can be transformed in a heartbeat by making a simple decision. This is something that Vladdy's going to talk to you about. Beliefs can be transformed and begin to be built in a heartbeat by making a decision. It's so important that you understand that. And I'm going to get her to talk about that. I've got a few more slides. I'm going to show you what our offer is, and then I'm going to bring on Vladdy, and then I'm going to address questions. Okay, so that's our wrap up, and then we're going to give away our gift as well. So the simple truth: one, you build the belief while the pursuit of the goal. Okay, you can build the belief while you're in pursuit of the goal. It doesn't have to be built before. That's the simple truth. Number two, feelings, emotions are the best way, absolute best way, bar none, to build a belief, to have the faith, to develop it. And you do that through your imagination. Feelings and emotions are the best way. Simple, right? Absolutely simple. A lot of people don't understand this. I am here to teach the most simplistic way to have you manifest your goals with ease. This is the most simplistic way. Now, we have a program called Skipping Levels. We got a variety of different programs. That's why it's valuable for you to book a call with Vladdy, because she can talk to you about what we have and what we would recommend for you. And today's message of wisdom was this, and it came from my book, Savvy Wisdom. It said this: you see, the secret to life is to feel joy and freedom while continuously holding the intention of what you want, even though it may not be in your life at the moment and there may not be any evidence of it in sight. Stay connected to what you would love as if it's already here. That's how you draw what you want to you. By doing this, you activate the life-affirming power within you. Now, that's straight out of my book series called Savvy Wisdom, which I'm assuming you all have. And if you don't, get it. Savvy Wisdom, it's a trilogy. And these messages, like some of the messages that we share in our Skipping Levels, come from the trilogy Savvy Wisdom. And this is a fiction series that I actually signed a contract for very recently to be made into a movie when I was down in Hollywood a couple of weeks ago. We'll be announcing that soon. And even this was something that was an example of building a belief. Today we're talking about beliefs. When I got the idea in my mind, think about that woman that had the idea, and then she's going through the challenging part, the terror part, and then she makes the decision. I started thinking about writing this book, Savvy Wisdom, and immediately the old beliefs of you're not a fiction writer, this is not what you do, this is not what you've done. So I just asked myself, do I want to? Is this something I would love to do? Yes was the answer. What do you need to believe? That's what I suggested to you guys earlier. What do you need to believe in order to have this be a success? I need to believe it was easy. I need to believe I'm a great fiction writer. I need to believe it's a phenomenal product. And it is a phenomenal product. I'm very proud of Savvy Wisdom and the entire series. I believe everybody should have it. So if you don't, go and buy it right now. Absolutely recommend that you do. But that was all created from a belief. And it was a belief, like I showed you a moment ago, that I created like that. And that's how fast you can build the belief. So this was I saw this message this morning. I thought I have to add it to my slides because it's such an important message. This is also an important message. Lost time is never found again. It is your time. Enough of playing small. It's time for you to really take your results to the next level. Now, my desire is that you follow through on what we've been talking about here today. Everything that we've been talking about here today. I'm not only giving you tips and suggestions and ideas, but also recommendations too, which I'm going to do now. And that is if you really want your results to change, you have to make a committed decision. That's what I did. I got in the study, found myself a mentor, someone that knew about success, and I decided to follow his lead, made the decision. When I decided to join Bob Proctor's program, I did not have the money to do so, but I decided to invest in myself and go for it. I put it on my credit card and joined his program. When I finished his program, I signed up again. When I finished it again, I signed up again and again and again and again and again. Never stopped studying with that man. Still study with him today. So what we've created for you is something called Mind Conditioning Accelerator. Now, why we called it that is because it really is about conditioning your mind. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the page, mindconditioningaccelerator.com. You can go there. Roddy will put the link in the chat box as well. I want to tell you a little bit about it so you can take a look at it and consider it and join as well if you're somebody who really wants to accelerate your results. So this is a brand new program. We're starting classes next week. They're going to be Tuesday and Thursday, and we're doing it for 30 days. And when you join now, you're going to immediately be given an assignment. And the assignment is going to be simple. It's fun. It's an assignment for you to get started on. And then we're going to be starting classes. There will be a workbook for this as well. And it's all about building the beliefs. That's really what the program is. You can go on this page and you can read everything that's here that explains what it's all about, what we deliver on, what you're going to get out of it. Well, you know me and who I am and how this program is going to work. Very, very simple. You're going to get messages every day for 30 days. You're going to get 2 classes every week for 30 days. You're going to get a workbook that's going to guide you. And the whole idea behind Mind Conditioning Accelerator is for you to build a belief system that's going to have you accomplishing your goals, no matter how big or small. And I will suggest you dream big with greater ease, with consistency, so that you can do it again and again and again. And I know that when you go through this program, you are never going to be the same, provided you follow through with all the recommendations. So if you're somebody who's very serious about making positive change, and I know you are because you told me at the beginning of this call, then the Mind Conditioning Accelerator. Oh, I see, Roddy, we got the wrong, what do you call it, logo on here. You've got the old logo. It's conditioning, Mind Conditioning Accelerator. I just noticed that right now. Roddy will fix that a little bit later. It is Mind Conditioning Accelerator is the name of the program, and that is exactly what it is. So we would love for you to join us in that program. Now, I'm going to bring Vladdy in right now because Vladdy is somebody who has been in the study for quite some time now, not as long as I have, a few years. But when I see that, when I showed you guys that slide of the woman that was sitting there with the intravenous, saturate your mind, I think about Vladdy because that is exactly what you did. And I know, Vladdy, in the beginning, you had gone through some struggles, some challenges. You got into these materials. You didn't have the support at home that a lot of people think that they have to have. You made some decisions. You had actually, gone into some debt as well and went through some growth. And I want you to go back in time to when you first got into the materials and when you first made a decision that you're going to make some positive changes in your life.
Yeah, hi everyone. It was amazing session, Peggy. Before I start, I'd love this. I've got copious notes. I hope everybody does. But yeah, if I go back to the time where I found myself with diagnosis of breast cancer, actually, and that's how it all started. And I remember going, actually, I'm one of the people who have the strongest health beliefs about being completely healthy all the time. And I've had this since I'm a teenager. I don't take any pills, anything. So I don't believe there's anything ever happening to me. So this came as a huge shock. And it came as my self-questioning, and it was a huge fear. My kids were really small, and I thought, whoa, what if I die? But that I really shut that down. And I remember scrolling down the phone, and it was Bob Proctor, actually, who appeared on a Facebook, and he said, if you find yourself with the disease, it means your mind is not at ease. And that was the sentence that hooked me up to these materials, because I thought, okay, I've made, and now I understand it. Obviously, at that time, as Peggy said, go back, I didn't know what committed decision is. I just thought all the decisions are the same, really. So it's like everybody makes decisions, but really it makes huge difference of what results you have and what how you experience your life. So I've made a committed, irrevocable decision, which I now can call it, of doing whatever it takes to learn everything about the mind and get into everything. And that's how I discovered Peggy, because I really saturated my mind with studying every day. And now when I say 10 out of 10, and Peggy actually was throughout the seminars talking about dominant part of you. So if you think you wake up in the morning and you do your gratitude or visualization, whatever disciplines you're doing, and then you do it in the afternoon and you tick the box and you think, I'm doing my work, well, think again, 24 hours a day. If you sleep around 8, that leaves 16, that's 8.5. Dominant part of the day is over 8 hours a day. How many people on the call can say, I'm fully saturating my mind 8+ hours a day? And that's what you need to be really fully aligned. Now, that is 10 out of 10. So I had fear. I had no idea what to do. I was scared. I didn't have money. I quit my job next day with this diagnosis. So as you can imagine, I put myself financially in a worse position, because I then thought I don't have the money to actually invest in all these materials. And what if I die? All these thoughts. And then I've just said, no, I had to put stop to it, like my Peggy was saying. And I started studying, and then Bob said, you have to have a C goal. And my C goal was to actually write a book. And he said, well, the best person you can go to is Peggy. So I reached out to Peggy. And did I believe I can be an author? Absolutely not. Nobody else was like, well, English is not your first language. You don't have anything that it takes. I mean, there were a bucket full of excuses and paradigms which I could just pull out saying, nope, you can't do it. But I persisted. And because when you make a committed, irrevocable decision, it means that the current conditions, remember, they are temporary. Maybe you don't believe that, but you need to believe that they're temporary. They're just there because you're probably focusing more on what you don't want rather than what you do want. Maybe you believe in struggle. Like as I've mentioned this before, Peggy started a call. Do you believe in struggle? Sometimes people believe in struggles and they don't really realize that that is actually the belief that is keeping them into struggling. But I knew that I'm going to do whatever it takes, and I borrowed the money. Now, I don't advise anyone to do it ever, but I knew the reason I did that was because I didn't have the job. I didn't have I didn't know how long I can be here and anything. I knew that if I can actually focus my mind on what I would love, everyone else was studying the materials and there were people having great results. Now, I didn't believe that I can do it. I believed in the materials. I never questioned the materials. They're perfect. But I didn't think that would work for me because, other people, they have better education. They just more aware of everything. They have more money. I had, again, bucket full of excuses. And that was it. I've started working with Peggy. Well, actually, no, I didn't start working with her. I just reached out to her as a client because I was committed to writing the book. And it took more money. And then, everything was coming to me because you make this decision, you take a first step, and then you realize you need more of everything, more money, more time, more energy. And you can give up at any point. But I knew that if I give up now, I'm just going to create a habit of giving up. And if you actually are the person, there might be something that you are experiencing as well. Do you actually stick with the decision you make, or you just let it go and say, oh no, now it's not a good time? Because when you make a decision to do something and you're in love with it, so if you're in love with your goal, that what Peggy said, you have your desire, you will do whatever it takes, meaning you will give the money, you will give the time, because the passion, you fueling your desire is you will make it work. And now the higher power, you made a contract with the energy and the divine, because now that the universe, God, higher power, whatever you call it, knows you're committed. And we in our 3D world don't often think about this, because you have to sign the decision. How do you do it? By making committed, irrevocable decision from the end. So you're making it as the person who you desire to be. Who would you love to be? Like, another thing is, are you clear on who you would love to be? Because mind thinks in pictures, and vision has the clarity. Order is the heaven's first law. Bob used to say that all the time. If you don't have an order, how do you get order? By mentoring, by being in the high-end groups, by studying, by being and following people who knows what they're doing. I knew that if I knew how to create my my results differently, I would have done it. Sometimes people say, oh, I'm following Peggy and Bob and all these mentors for years. And 4 years ago, this sentence used to impress me. And I was thinking, who am I to talk to these people? You know, I mean, they're following them longer than I am. But now it doesn't impress me anymore sometimes when I hear that. So where are you still in those 10 years of following them? You don't have to answer, but ask yourself the question. I've been following them for 5 years. Am I where I would love to be? And am I getting the results I would love? And for me, I was really dissatisfied with my results. And as Rory was talking before Peggy started, this satisfaction stimulates growth. For me, it wasn't actually the desire that pulled me. I call it push and pull effect, because it wasn't the desire that pulled me. It was the dissatisfaction that pushed me. I was at the state where I wasn't happy. I was quite frustrated. I was desperate. I wasn't sure where to go. But somewhere deep inside me, I just knew I'm making the right decision. I had no idea how I'm going to make it work, but I had faith that I will do that. There was this calling. There was, you know, like you have this unexplainable feeling that you have to be here, you have to do it. It's because it's given into you and it's the higher power. Now, whether you take action or not, it's whether you actually are thinking from the end and making the decision. But don't allow your current temporary conditions, which is lack of money, lack of education, lack of time, lack of energy, not living in the right country, not having enough time, whatever it is really just something that is a temporary condition. If you allow this to take a crown of your head, really, and make decisions for you, you are the queens and kings of your castle, and nobody else creates your world. You create your own world. Now, obviously, we all would love to have a help, because there are things we just don't know how to do and we don't know how to get there. So we follow people with results. And that's what I did. I followed Peggy, and then a few months actually later, she asked me, would you love to work with me? I was like, oh my God. And then I had actually on my seagull that I wanted to be a PGI consultant. And at the time I said to her, well, now is it the universe testing me? She said, the universe doesn't ever test you. What would you love? And, you know, for me, it was making the decision, like, am I cheating on my goal, or am I actually listening to intuition, what I would love? But being with her, I've really transformed, because I've learned how to make decisions, but I've learned about worthiness. So it doesn't matter. You set up your goals, you set them with paradigms. And that's what first lesson, she said, how many of your goals you've written with your paradigm? And I looked down again on the list. I was like, well, few. So you're writing goals with paradigms, you're making decisions with your paradigms, which are lower frequency energy. And where people sometimes say, well, I'm not here where I would love to be. Well, because you made a decision on a low frequency energy, you cannot jump the quantum leap as some of the other people you're watching are maybe doing. Don't compare yourself with that. All it takes is like, you're not there. There is something, you're entering worry, you're entering doubt, you're not believing yourself. I borrowed Peggy's belief. She believed in me, and it was me trying. I took on this belief that I can't disappoint her. There was something, she believed in me, and I wasn't going to say, oh, you know, it's just too hard, I give up. So I kept pushing and pushing and pushing just so she wasn't disappointed in me, and it worked. I actually pushed myself. And like she said, she's not doing anything for you, but having people in the group, accountability, and being in a like-minded environment really helps you to step up. And it's you become more receptive, so you're more open to listen, and you are willing to take it couple of steps up, as opposed to when you were just on your own. It's easy to dismiss something because we're like, oh, now it's not the right time, or no, maybe that's my paradigm, but maybe it isn't. Maybe it's just something we have to push through. But with the right guidance, you will push through. So what did bring me back is really starting understanding the feeling. And that was something I said to Peggy, like she was like, oh my God, I love how much you understand Bob's materials, but I still wasn't seeing physical results. And I did say to Peggy, I was like, well, I'm not seeing. I said, are you focusing on that? Are you focusing on lack of money? And I've seen myself, I realized that I had the pattern where I would be happy at the beginning of the month, but towards the end of the month, when I knew all the bills are coming in, I didn't feel as aligned as the beginning of the month, because all of a sudden this energy of, how am I going to pay for all of this? I'm like, oh my God, I'm crazy. What did I do? And now I can't, and I had this pressure of committing myself to something where people believed in me. And now I felt that I don't want to give up. And it was this huge tennis match I was playing with myself. That's where I actually took a decisions which I didn't think I can do. And I did. I was definitely not having conditions which were supporting me. People going, yeah, quit your job and just go and be a coach. Oh, I was like, are you crazy? You know how many coaches are there? They don't make any money. You can't be an author. And I used to have all these. And I thought, but you need to surround yourself with the right people, because like Peggy's teaching, you become average of the people who are around you. And Bob used to say that as well. You become an average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. So who you're surrounding yourself with? Are those people supportive of what you do? Do you believe that you can do it? You absolutely can. Even if you don't believe it, do you feel intuitively, do you know what? Today is the day I need to make a decision. I would not be sitting here today. I wouldn't be in Hollywood last week. I wouldn't be surrounded by such an amazing people, working with Roddy, in the team, Kayla. It's just really took one decision at the time when it was the least convenient, the most discomforted, and I said yes to myself. I didn't really say yes to anyone else. But again, I didn't understand it that time, because I just thought, oh, it's like all the other people and doing it. But what do you feel you would love to do? You came to this webinar for a reason. Now, we don't upsell, we ask so many people. I said to Peggy, I'm surprised how many people say no to calls, because we don't actually hard sell or we don't do anything. But unless you're aware of how Peggy can help you and what are the right fits for you, you then have to make the decision, because if you don't make your own decision, you're not going to get the result. We can't make decisions for you. And that's why it's so important to understand this decision. Don't make it from the place of the temporary condition. I'm not saying you might have them. I mean, I still up and down experiencing. Every time we make committed decision to do something we haven't done before, including me doing it now, of course, I'm going bigger. I would laugh at it 3 years ago. And now I feel, oh my God, that was ridiculous. I was actually hesitating at that point. But I'm standing where I'm standing now. If I didn't create the habit of making decisions and making them from what I would love, I would just not be here today. I just wouldn't. I know I wouldn't. I would be okay. But I wouldn't be as great as I am, and I wouldn't have this thinking. And now there's more, and my kids are getting this. They're watching me. Oh, mommy can just have her business. She can travel. I can do this. So you're giving other people beliefs, and you become a ripple effect for people. I can. And if you're showing people I can, then everyone around you starts believing in themselves. So you're actually doing not just yourself a favor, you are really helping others to create better life too. And that's what something I had to realize as well. It's never about us. It's being a source in the life of another. What does it mean? I have to become a source of something I want. If I want more money, I have to give more. And I remember when I've heard this sentence first, I was like, that's just crazy. I just don't have enough money. How can I give more? You can. I made a conscious decision that everything I make every single month, minimum 10% of that will go out immediately to people who are. I still do it. But the thing is, like, you make them decisions, but you have to make them even if you're not there yet. So think of the person who you would love to be, because that person would not be thinking as you might be thinking now with the conditions. Keep the crown on your head and just know it's your world. Nobody can make you do anything you don't want to do, and nobody can actually make you, believe in yourself, but we can help you. Like Peggy, you can borrow any of ours belief, but I borrowed Peggy's and it really worked, because I found I'm worthy, I'm more than good enough, I deserve all this. And that is what is my biggest beneficial of being with Peggy, because then you can take it anything else you do in your life, you take that worthiness and believe in you, and you can create anything. So do something today that your future self will say thank you to yourself.
That's such a great statement, Vladdy, and thank you so much for sharing. Thanks for sharing your experience as well. We're getting a bunch of questions that are coming in. I'm going to address those right now. I want to thank Vladdy. I know that many of you are inspired by what she's saying. Like, I like how she talked about the habit of giving up and, you know, how important that is as well. And lack of money, don't have it. And it's, you know, what I thought about when she was explaining that. So when people have that belief, and I saw it in the responses too, is that that's what they're expecting. They're expecting to struggle. Or when I see somebody who says something like, if I invest in that, there'll be no more money. Well, is that what you expect? There's an abundance out there. There's plenty of money and you can attract it. You got to get in harmony with having money. I asked Bob one time, Bob Proctor, I said, what's your greatest belief about money? And you know what he answered? He said, how easy it is to earn it. How easy it is to earn it. Now, I wonder how many people really have that belief, but think about it. If you had that belief. So when we think about mind conditioning accelerator, that whole program is designed about building the belief system that's going to support you, to put you into the habit of success. That's why we called it accelerator. It's 30 days. It's intensive. I will be giving you recommendations of what to do to create that alignment, stay in alignment, get back in alignment every single day. You're getting a video message from me every single day. You're getting assignments that are fun. They're all about you. It's how to build that belief system, how to create that alignment so that you create the habit, so that you condition. That's why we called it mind conditioning. So you condition yourself for success. That's what Vladdy had chosen to do. She's conditioning herself. And it's not just this decision that she made a few years ago. She does this every single day. I do this every single day. There's many of you that are on the call that are doing this every single day. In fact, we had a question from some people that asked, how's it different from Club Achieve, from Skipping Levels, from the MSI Entrepreneur, Epitome? How is it different from the other programs that you have? Well, one, it's brand new. And two, it's all designed around this, the habit of building the belief. It's about belief building. It's about building the beliefs. It's like that foundation that's below you that supports you to go anywhere you want to go. Yes, we talk about beliefs and skipping levels. That is a 6-month program. Annual All Access Pass is a 1-year program. This is 30 days. Bam, bam, bam. We're going to dive in, get serious about it. It is mindconditioningaccelerator.com. That's what we're going to be doing. And that's what's different. That's what's unique about this particular offer that we're making. And I loved it when, you know, Vladdy said this. She said, I don't advise anyone to do that ever. She was talking about debt. What she's saying is she went into debt. I went into debt. Bob went into debt. We all went into debt to get to where we are. And it is a method that people use. Now, she's not saying that if that's something you want to do, don't do it. You get to make your own decisions on what you're going to do. What she's saying is we're not saying to go to that place of being in debt and stay there. It's not where you want to go. And some of you have already made investments and it hasn't quite worked out for you. That's okay. Maybe it's because it wasn't the right program. Maybe it wasn't the right fit. Maybe it wasn't delivered in the way that really worked for you. And if so, that's okay. You know, that's okay. You can choose to join or not choose. It won't make any difference whether you're in it or not for us. We'd love to serve you. We would absolutely love to serve you. Now, because this is a live program, are we doing it again? I don't know. We're doing it next week and we're starting on Tuesday for sure. So the special price is for an intro. It's an introductory offer. So we've made this special price just for the very first launch of the program. It will change. Absolutely, it's going to change. I love that. Building the muscles like training the mind muscles, building them up for repetition. Absolutely. Tootie's a very serious student as well. She's very committed to her success. That's why Tootie is here. That's why Tootie invested in herself. I was very blessed to work with Tootie all of last year, and I know she made some major changes. I witnessed it right in front of my eyes because of what she did, what she applied. She stepped into a new version of who she is. That's what I want you to do. I want more for you. I really want that in your life. I remember, you know, Bob Proctor being on stage and people, you know, feeling a little uncomfortable because he was promoting his programs. And he said, if you think I'm selling to you, I want you to know I am. And he says, I'm not going to apologize for it. And I'm not embarrassed by it because I know this is what you need. This is what you need to change your life. It's what I did. It's what Vladdy did. It's what many other people did as well. And so it is requirement. It is a requirement. And it really allows you to create new patterns for success. I was typing notes as Vladdy was talking as well. She said she took a lot of notes as well. You know, she said something, and I just want to comment on this as well. She talked about pushing through something. Now, we think of the word push as a negative word. It's not necessarily a negative word. Push through can be easy. It can be fun. It can be enjoyable as well. But what we invite you to do is step into this new version of who you are. Step into being that person who is magnificent, to being that person who is already successful, being that person who's already successful and residing there, living that way. You're ultimately creating a new mind. I loved it when Bob used to say, there is a place. Now, this place he was talking about was in your mind. The place that he's referring to is the place of you already being the success that you desire. Now, there's two things we have to do. One is I want to give this away, reward this. And so what I asked you is when I was doing the slides to pay attention, what significant message that was in the slide presentation today made a difference for you. I want you to type it in the chat box right now. What has in the last hour and 49 minutes that we've been together here has really made a difference for you, that has shifted your consciousness, that may be something that you've chosen to apply for as well? Eileen says, I'm deciding that it's Canadian. That's cute. All right. What it is that you want. Beliefs hold us back and set us free. Move on it. I love it. Okay, good. Saturation. Yes, absolutely. Great messages. What I know is if I don't do this, I will be in exactly, oh, this is so good, Tootie. The same situation I am right now. I want better. I want different. So I need to do different. You need to be different. Yeah, absolutely right. True. It's absolutely result. If you do nothing, it's not going to be the same. It'll likely be worse, right? Nothing stays the same in this world. George says the iceberg, what you see is above the water. What controls is under the water. Yes, absolutely. Let the limiting beliefs go. Relax in the knowing. I love that you got that, Joan. That's beautiful. Deny the evidence of the senses. Awareness is the key. Okay, deny the evidence of the senses again. What change I need to make myself better? What can I believe? How about that? Did anyone write that down? Yes, and Jackie says, I've decided this is the opportunity I've been waiting for. Jackie G is this lovely woman from New Zealand. It was 4 a.m. when this webinar started, and she was texting me earlier to tell me that she's joining the Mind Conditioning Accelerator. I love that you're joining, Jackie G. There's so much more for you, so much more that you can experiencing, and what Jackie G has is desire and the willingness to invest in herself. So I'm delighted that I'll be serving you in the Mind Conditioning Accelerator program. Dave says, beliefs will prevent us from seeing opportunities. Lisa, build your beliefs. Choose the beliefs that will serve you. Absolutely, Lisa. So great. That was really good. Clinton, I formed a new belief. I do work that I enjoy and I feel so full of energy. Awesome, Clinton. I love that. Oh, Kayla said she loved that as well. We'd love to help you deepen those beliefs. I love that Kayla wrote that. I love that she shone the light on that, because that is what we desire to do, is help you deepen those beliefs, so like really reinforce them so that they're strong. That's what Mind Conditioning Accelerator will do as well. To build a new belief, I must work on it every day. Absolutely right. Yeah, Munsa says that Bob Proctor said earning money is easy. Mark Wallace, beliefs can be changed in a second. Yes, I love that. Miriel, to understand my beliefs so I can change my results. Beautiful. Is there a specific time for the seminars, Roddy's asking? We're going to do the seminars next week at 2 p.m. Eastern, and they'll all be recorded, so you're not missing out on anything. You can get on them live if you want, or you watch the recording. The next week, they'll be at 10 a.m., the following week at 2 p.m., the next week at 10 a.m. So they're going to go 2 p.m., 10 a.m., 2 p.m., 10 a.m. For 4 straight weeks, every Tuesday and Thursday. Okay? All right, now I'm going to ask my team to choose the winner of the block and let me know who I'm sending it to, and we'll announce that in a few minutes. They're going to put their little heads together and come up with a solution. And the next thing that I want to do is I'd like to address your questions as well. And Ronnie has been collecting them, and we still have 7 minutes. I'm willing to go overtime if you guys want to go a little overtime. Would that be okay if we go a little overtime while I address the questions? Yes? Okay, good. Roddy says yes. So he's the boss of me. So I'm going to go with what Roddy suggests. Yeah, me too. Okay. So thank you. Okay, the first one is, okay, so that Jennifer's question, I think we've addressed Jennifer's question of the fear of success. I blended it in the answer throughout the event. And of course, Roddy had posted that after I had addressed it. Eva says, how do you know if you're not succeeding because you're not believing, or if you're trying to fight one of the laws? Okay, how do you know? This is a really great question, and actually a very common question. In fact, how do you know? Now, I would assume that what she's saying is, how do you know if you're in alignment or not? The answer is how you feel. So if you think about your goal or goals, you can pick any goal, and you think about, do you believe that, okay, good. Okay, my team's just giving me the winner. Do you believe that this is already in your life? And your answer is yes. Now, if you don't, that's okay, because Mind Conditioning Accelerator is going to help you build the belief so that it's so strong that it's natural for you. One of my favorite authors who I've referenced today on a number of occasions is a gentleman by the name of Neville Goddard. And he wrote a book called The Power of Awareness. He wrote many books. And I was reading a book on the weekend that was a culmination of Neville's work and another gentleman. And in this particular book that I read on the weekend, the co-author with Neville basically said that, you know, he wasn't really wildly successful when he was alive. He became more successful afterwards, which is kind of interesting that that occurred. And one of his chapters in his book called The Power of Awareness, he talks about failure. Is an entire chapter called Failure. And why I want to specifically speak about this chapter is because he says in his book, and I'm holding the book in my hands right now, he says that the reason why people fail or don't accomplish their goals is because they don't feel it's natural. So here's what he says. I pulled up the book and I pulled right to the page where I have this listed. The time it takes for your assumption, that's your goal, okay? The time it takes for your assumption to become fact. Like you used to say, your assumptions will harden into fact. Assumptions are your beliefs, right? That's what you believe. They will harden into fact. If you believe you're poor, it's going to harden into fact. If you believe you have to struggle all the days of your life, it hardens into fact, right? But if you believe you're wealthy, that too will harden into fact. If you believe it's easy to succeed and you believe it and reinforce it, that too will harden into fact. I'm on page 100. And so your desire to be filled is directly proportionate to the naturalness of your feeling of already being what you want to be, of already having what you want to desire. The book is called The Power of Awareness. And so the fact that it does not feel natural to you to be what you imagine yourself to be is the secret of your failure. Hence the reason for Mind Conditioning Accelerator. We're going to have it feel natural for you. That's the goal, is that you'll feel it natural. The reason why people do not accomplish their goals is because they don't feel it naturally. So how do you know? Answer that question, Eva. It's how you feel. Do you feel that's who you are? Do you believe that's what's in your life now? And if you don't, you can build it. You can reinforce it by focusing on it as already done. Okay, let's go to the next question. And in 1 minute, I will announce the winner. Yes, the sessions are all with me. The question was asked, are they all with Peggy? Yes, they're all with me. Okay, the next question is, how do you accept these new beliefs? Okay, great question, Nancy. All right, good. All right, and then I have 2 more questions and then we're going to wrap it up, but I want to announce the winner as well. So the question was, how do you accept these new beliefs? Like, it can be an interesting opportunity when you're choosing to accept a new belief. So how you can is by saying, I choose to accept these new beliefs. But the other way, now that's a simple way, a simple answer. But the other way is reinforce them, right? How many of you have heard the expression, if you hear something over and over again, you will start to believe it, right? Right, Eileen? You hear something over and over again, you'll start to believe it. That's why our belief system gets built. That's the lower part of the what do you call that thing? Iceberg. Thank you. Thank you, Blanzenka. All right, that it's hidden, right? We don't necessarily see it, But when we impress and impress and impress through repetition, it builds the belief within us. So how is through the repetition? Number of days and times. Yes. Okay. And then the next question from Vib. How is your movie on Savvy Wisdom coming along? It's coming along. We got a contract now, so it's movement. And according to Phil Goldfine, who's my colleague in the Hollywood Manifest event, says, you know, Hollywood has its own time schedule. So in my mind, it's already done. I want you to see it that way as well. Okay. Let's see. I would like to announce the winner, and then I'm going to answer Joanna's questions. So the team, you've chosen a winner, yes? Okay. I think is the winner Clinton? Clinton is the winner. Where's Clinton? Is he still here? Oh, yes. Clinton is still here. So Clinton, what we would like you to do is we'd like you to email to support@peggymccall.com your mailing address so that I can mail this to you. And yeah, congratulations. Look at all the people. You know what you just did, everyone that was congratulating Clinton, is you put good energy. You're celebrating something that he accomplished. You may have wanted it as well, although I know some of the people on the call already have one because they're in my annual All Access Pass. But I love that you did that. That was appreciation. That was a great thing to do. Okay, we've got 2 more questions actually, right, Roddy? Also, Vladdy is available for a free discovery call, and she's not a pushy salesperson. I know some of the people said that, but why we do those calls is because we do have a lot of different offers. And I mean, I'm going to recommend right now you get into Mind Conditioning Accelerator, but we do have an annual program. We just finished doing Hollywood Manifest in Hollywood, right at Universal Studios. We're doing it again in September. We just opened that up. We have the Epitome Author Program, which is showing authors how to create success, because writing the book is only 5% of success for an author. You've got to learn and understand what's involved in marketing. So Vladdy is very happy to go over what she would recommend as what's right for you. So you can book a call with her through the link that Roddy has just placed there. You'll also find on our replay page that the link will be there to book a call with Vladdy. The link will also be there for the Mind Conditioning Accelerator. Yes, we're starting next Tuesday, so you've got a few days, 1 week before our first class, so you can get yourself registered. Okay, 2 questions. Joanna, do you class visualization as action? Visualization is definitely action. I love that you ask it, because sometimes people say, they get confused because they understand that you don't have to know how, right? You don't have to know how to get to where you want to go. So the confusion comes from people saying, well, if I don't know how, have to know how, what do I do, right? Visualization is part of the action. Visualizing in your mind, seeing yourself already there, reinforcing that belief, studying, getting into Mind Conditioning Accelerator is action. All of these things, being in the study, staying in the study, all of that is action. Choosing to, put statements in front of you, listening to your Power Life script every day, all of that is definitely classified as action. I love it. Eileen says, I was on a call with Vladdy, very positive and supportive call, loving and understanding. Yeah, that's who she is. That's who she is. I love that. I love that you said that too as well. Okay, Danielle, I recently tried to manifest something within a certain time frame. I was so convinced it was mine. It was living there in imagination. It didn't happen. I was a little disappointed. Should I not use time frames and make it more general, or is there a specific technique you use using time frames? Oh my goodness, what a brilliant question. And I am so grateful that you asked. No, you don't put time frames on it, although we will talk about things that are specific for a time frame. So all goals should be written as if they're in your life now. We manifest in the now, in this moment. You accept it as here now. That is the best, the most effective way to manifest anything. So how does that work when you're purchasing a home and you've got a close date? Well, you got to understand and accept that it's in your life now. However, you got to be flexible with this, as it relates to real estate. I remember years ago making a decision when I saw a draw that was in our city in Ottawa for $100 ticket, you could win a home. And this is how my process of manifestation came to be for a particular house that I decided was mine. I bought a ticket on the draw. I visualized that I was living in this home. I saw myself living there with my son, Michelle. I owned it. It was my home. I was there in imagination. I felt it completely. And I visualized every single day. I even wrote on my goal card that I was living at that address. And then the draw came and I didn't win the house. Now, this is what happens with a lot of people. They throw the baby out with the bathwater. And what that means is they give up on their goal. You cannot tell the universe or force goals into being. You have to allow them into being by accepting them as already done. I'm relaxed in the knowing that it is already done. Now, I didn't, was I disappointed that I didn't win the draw? Sure. But is disappointment an energy that serves you? No, not usually, unless it propels you to make a decision to do something different, right? I knew that staying in that energy, wallowing in energy that doesn't serve you is destructive. And so what did I do? I just saw myself living in a home. Was it that home? Any home at that point, but a home that I loved, that I felt grateful for, that I saw myself in with my son. So I changed my goal card. I, Peggy McColl, I'm so happy and grateful that I'm living in my beautiful home. And I had that scripted and felt it completely. Several months passed. I woke up in the middle of the night and I got an inspiration to go back to that where that home was that was in the draw. And there's a for sale sign on the lawn. I was drawn in there. I didn't have the money to buy the house, but I made a decision. This home is mine. And I bought it. And I owned it for many, many years and sold it for almost double what I paid for it. It was an investment. And I made it happen by doing what I've been talking about here. I built the belief system. And I built the belief system by reinforcing the idea that it was absolutely mine. It was my home. I owned it. Now, you can do that with anything. I've done it with everything in my life that's good and true and wonderful and beautiful. You can manifest anything that your heart desires, but you have to do the work. I can give you the guidance and I can help you along the way and help you get back on track when you fall off track. But life is precious. It's an absolute precious gift that we should be honoring. And it doesn't matter how old you are. I'm 65 years of age. I will continue to do this work. I will continue to grab a hold of goals that I have no earthly idea how I'm going to manifest, but I stay and remain in alignment with the outcome. You do the same and you will continue to manifest goal after goal after goal. It is, Eileen says, it's all about developing the belief system and staying present and trust that you'll get there in the right time. Bang on. She knows what she's talking about, Eileen. Good for you. It's absolutely true. And I know many of you know this, and you may even be going through this last 2 hours. Oh, right on, 82. I love that. Well, Bob was teaching until he was almost 88. So I love that. You may have been watching this event, watching this webinar and thinking, oh yeah, I know that. But it's about livingness. Are you living it? Are you living the way you want to live? And if not, it's time, baby. It is absolutely time, and we want to show you the way. So it has been my pleasure, Roddy's pleasure. I'm going to bring my whole team into the spotlight here. I'm not even sure if Kayla's video is on, but I'll find out in a second. Let's see if Kayla's video is on. I know she's here. She was here. Where'd she go? She's not here? She may have gone to pick up James from school or something. Oh, she's at the top. That's why. She's at the top. She's definitely here. Okay, her video's off. Okay, her video's off. So that's okay. We won't bring Kayla. What's that, Vladdy?
Her video is on. I can actually see her.
I can see her. Oh, okay. All right. Well, let me bring her into the spotlight. Thank you. Yeah, there she is. All right. So this is the team that I'm very blessed to be surrounded with. I've attracted all of them into my life. They've attracted me into their life. My son attracted Kayla. She's the mother of my grandchildren and my daughter-in-law. And wow, did he do a good job of that. He won the jackpot there. And we're all here to serve you. We love you guys. We really, really, really love our clients. And that's why I love that Eileen made the comment about Vladdy, because that's who she is. That's who Kayla is as well. That's who Roddy is, as I'm sure you know. And we're all here to serve you, to support you. we're very blessed that you made the decision to join us here today. And I want to thank you for that. I know how valuable your time is, and we take it very seriously. And our only goal is to give you value up the wazoo so that you're really inspired by the teaching. So I want to thank you and give you appreciation and thank my team for being here as well. Thanks, everyone. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Kayla. I like what she wrote here. What an incredible event. We want you to know that we're here to support you every step of the way. If you ever feel like there's, well, we got all kinds of comments going here. Something holding you back, something just out of reach. We're here to help uncover and overcome it. Let us guide you on the journey of discovery and empowerment. Together, we can break through those barriers. Absolutely. I love that. You're very welcome. Thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate you guys. A shot of positive energy. I like that. Really appreciate that. You're very welcome. And I look forward to those of you that are joining us. Yeah, high vibes that are joining us in the Mind Conditioning Accelerator. We look forward to serving you more. And of course, those of you that are all part of our other programs, we look forward to serving you in those too. It's always a delight to serve. It's such a rewarding experience for all of us as well. So thank you, everyone. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye for now.